Sai, let me bring you to the picture. Now, this argument always comes up really when we talk about CAB, about whether it infringes on Article 14 or not. Your thoughts?
So, media reports constantly portray this particular bill as a bill that is meant to give citizenship to non-Muslims. I think that is a very unfair characterization, and I am not trying to hold brief for any dispensation here. This is my view as someone who has been following this particular issue for quite some time now, and I have written on this particular issue as well. The definition that is being applied here, or the yardstick, is who or which community constitutes a minority in the neighboring countries. And the three countries that have been chosen for the purposes of this particular exercise are Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. So, if you go by the definition of who constitutes a minority, there is a reason that you have to necessarily come to the conclusion that it would be the non-Muslims. So, it's not as if they have chosen the other way.
What about the Muslim minorities, say for instance the Ahmadis in Pakistan?
Fantastic. So, that is a question. So, this necessarily has to be answered with some history and context. So, as Mr. Pookan rightly points out, we do not have a refugee law. What we follow is a standard operating procedure of 2014, which is primarily based on a clearance given from security agencies on the basis of, one, whether or not that particular group is persecuted in the country. Then you apply the principle of non-refoulement. Then you apply, as part of the principle of non-refoulement, the test of whether they pose a threat to India's security. Once these three questions are answered in the positive and in the affirmative, you end up giving a clearance to them. That is at least with respect to the status as a refugee in the first place. And then comes the next question. Now, if you want to open up this particular thing, then perhaps we have to go back to a discussion on the two-nation theory. And that is something that is inevitable, inescapable. If you look at all the reports, ever since Lieutenant General S.K. Sinha's report, or even before that, and something that even the Supreme Court has taken cognizance of in the Sarvananda Sonowal line of decisions, there is a clear threat perception on the basis of what is perceived as an unfinished agenda, which many bureaucrats, top politicians have repeatedly mentioned as part of their speeches and as part of their writings from Bangladesh and other parts, let's say, and neighboring countries, so-called friendly countries. Okay. Therefore, the government of India is within its right to apply its discretion in terms of which communities, and I dare say, which communities can enter this particular country or not. Today, Ahmadiyas face persecution because of the sectarian violence in Pakistan reaching its peak. However, it remains a fact that when the vote for Pakistan was going on and when the idea of Pakistan was mooted in the 1940s, the Ahmadiyas voted en masse for being a part of an Islamic republic. That was their position. Okay. Therefore, if we want to say that because today they face persecution, we need to open our hearts and gates and doors, I think we need to be a bit more careful.
Okay. Because
already the Northeast and states like Assam are facing the brunt of it. Tripura is never mentioned when it comes to this. They have faced the brunt of it. West Bengal has faced it for such a long time. Okay. Therefore, I think the Citizenship Amendment Bill must be looked at in the context of a continuum of the existence of a two-nation theory which continues to be alive and kicking in other parts of the world. Okay. Whether we believe it or not is a different question altogether.
Sure. Okay. So, the Ahmadiyas had their choice, they made their choice. Yes, now it is up to them really. It's for the others. We need to protect the others is what you're suggesting. All right. Mr.